welcome to this episode of the Gunman Raw. So today we're going to be doing the Basecoat stage on this Mazda CX-9. Down the side, front end, bumper and blend on the other side. Got my trusty old Pro light. So one thing that I was mentioning in my previous video on the marketing stage on this one is that I've been putting in extra reducer lately in this base coat. So EnviroBase waterborne base coat, and I've found that putting a little bit more reducer in or water in actually helps it dry. I was getting some dieback. It turns out the dieback was worse under the LED lights. So we got these high-powered LED lights out there, and yeah, it was drying back. And I reckon, I'm pretty sure that it was from the base coat still being wet. And I found that putting more water in the base coat actually helps it dry out. It's more likely to be dry when it looks dry. So previously what I think was happening is it looks dry because all the water's out of it, but there was still like whatever the rest of the paint is, like whatever the part that is not water, like I think it's latex base or something like that. So I reckon that part of the paint was still in there and still drying. But either way, the long and the short of it, I've found more reducer in the base coat, makes it look better. It's still a little bit of a tedious process with EnviroBase. Like once you've used Sando Blue, it's kind of hard to come back to such a slow system. Like Sando Blue's a one visit. You put 1.5 coats on in one visit, and then your base coat stage is done. Whereas this, you got to put a coat on, let it dry, put a coat on, let it dry, put another coat on, let it dry, make sure it's covered. If it's not, put another coat on, let it dry. If it's blue, it's probably still not covered. Put another coat on, let it dry. Yeah, you get the point. It's slow. But all in all, I don't mind it that much. It is what it is. Like the bosses here are pretty cool. They don't rush me or anything, you know. I rush myself sometimes, but they don't. You see, have a look at that. That's exactly what I'm talking about, guys. It's the middle of winter. It's cold outside. I just finished painting that, and it's dry already. So, yeah, okay, you might have to put an extra coat on because you do lose a little bit of coverage. But look at how fast it's going to dry. Much faster with more reducer. Have a look at that. And look, these kind of colours, they're still going to cover easy. 3 coats is all I'm going to need, you know. So I usually do cut the drying times out, but I thought I'll leave it in this time so you can see how it's actually not too bad. Crank the heater up in the booth, use the blower in between coats, and put more reducer in them out. And that's actually, if you look at the technical data sheet, it says this paint should be running through the viscosity cup at 22 to 26 seconds, and 30% reducer is it's bang on. Like I tested it, and it was 24 seconds. So yeah, I just chose 30% on every job from now on. hopefully by the time I get back to this bumper, that'll be right to go. But there you go, man. That was easily less than 5 minutes on a cold day. So sometimes when it's raining, obviously it's going to be a little bit slower than that, but you know, when the humidity's right up. This is my second coat of colour. On a colour like this, I just leave the settings the same for the first and second coat. There was a little stone chip up here, that's why I filled it up. So I'll put a bit of colour up there. But yeah, I'm glad I had a bit of a bit about this EnviroBase on Instagram, because it was me having a bit of a bitch about it which made somebody give me this idea of putting more reducer in. So like the tech reps here in Australia, they just say 15%, and then they say like, what is it, 20% for solid. But even that's a mile away from what is even recommended on the speed. You know what I mean? So 15% goes through a viscosity cut with like 40 seconds, man. It's a mile away from what they actually recommend. PPG themselves. I guess that's PPG America. But yeah. That's awesome, man. How quick is that drying? And also, I've been putting more reducer in the clear coat as well. So I've been going an extra 30%. So I'll go 3:1:1. And then like, if it asks for 100 grams of thinners, I'll put in 130 grams. So 30% extra thinners. Yeah, 30% of the thinners. You know what I mean? So not 30% of everything, but just 30% of the thinners. I hope you understood that. But yeah, again, I've actually found the extra thinners in the clear helps the clear dry as well, because it's not as thick. And it also stops all the orange peel. This clear, like, it doesn't flow. I found that this clear, it just stands up and it doesn't like to flow. So the only way to get a nice finish with it is to put extra reducer in it, more than they even recommend. But yeah, it's all good. I'm finally, like, I'm a little bit pissed off at myself that it's taken this long, but again, like, there must be where the air's flowing down there, so it's drying nice and fast. Yeah, I feel a little bit let down that it's taken me so long to figure this out, like to finally nail this system, but it's been a year, man. Like, it took me 2 weeks to be pretty damn good at standard, you know what I mean? But I guess it doesn't matter, I'm there now. Again, have a look at how fast that's drying. And as I say, like, if this was like a brand new Benz or like a brand new high-end car, I would be baking this base coat. I'd give that a 10-minute bake in between base coat and clear coat, just to get all of that solvent or whatnot, latex or whatever it is out of that base coat. Have a look at that, mate. That's awesome. That's drying really nice. I'm actually going to have to go and have a little bit of a top up. I think I'm going to need a little bit more base coat in that gun. It's good having these extra big spray boots too. Have a look at how big they are. Awesome, man. Bigger than most boots I've ever worked in. Like most boots, they probably stop around here. Or maybe even this one here. I'll go and top that up. So next thing I'll be doing is coming out, turning that kettle on to warm, and then I'll put the clear coat into a bucket of warm water, and that are actually off another job. So I'll warm the clear up, and then I'll get a bit of colour down on these other parts. So I do wind even though it's a black, I still wind that fluid in and turn the pressure down a little bit on the last coat. So you can see that that's covered, that the whole job's covered now after 2 coats. So my rule of thumb has always been, get it covered and then put another coat on. So same thing here. It looks covered after the 2nd coat, put 1 more coat on and we'll be fine. But yeah, the biggest bit of advice I can give, man, put more reducer in. If you're in Australia, 30% reducer. Well, give it a try. I don't know. I don't like being the guy that says it has to be this way. That's one thing that really pisses me off about paint reps sometimes. They're so stuck in their ways. They think they know everything and it has to be that way. And no, it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be exactly that way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Whose word would you take? The guy who sprays every day? Or the guy who goes to a training centre and paints once every few months? And when they do paint, they use solvent because they don't like the water. Well, I'm going to do a separate video for clear coat on this one, guys. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little base coat session. Hopefully I haven't bored you too much, but if you're still here, well, it can't have been that bad. I'm only doing jiggle jiggle. It's bold. Rightio guys, it's been a pleasure once again. And until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Coming out. Woo!